We are, of course, in the nerve center of the elections, and everything that you want to know about what's happening is obviously going to come down here on the ground. There is a buzz like no other, really just that excitement as we finally reached the 29th of May as a country, that election happening through, and really just the millions of South Africans who have really, taken the call to decide who should govern the nation. And you would know from Gauteng, Limpopo to the Western Cape, long queues were the order of the day, of course, for millions of South Africans turning out. And we are expecting, of course, to hear a little bit from the IEC in regards to how this has really delayed the progress and if this at all is hampering election progress. We did hear from them earlier when they gave a progress report. They spoke about that it is a concern, of course, the delay in voting materials reaching certain voting stations, as well as just the security concerns around that. When they gave the update earlier in the day, they did say the Eastern Cape, about 5 voting stations were affected, 20 in KwaZulu-Natal, and not a clear number as to what was happening in Gauteng and in areas around Johannesburg. But as we saw from throughout the day, the reporters on the ground seeing and standing with voters who are casting their ballots, those long queues, it seems that the delay in assuring that those voting materials got there in time may be a bigger impact than they had earlier reported on. But, just to get a little bit more sense on what is happening on the ground and what we're expecting to hear from the Commission, I'm joined by, of course, Ntate Lekota from COPE over here. Ntate, great to see you here, part again of another election. Just the feeling for you, 2024 general elections, how does it feel from all the others that you've been a part of?
Well, look, first of all, I think it's probably the last time I'm in an election. But nevertheless, I'm thrilled that we are able to gather here and decide how to take the country forward. I think this is an election par excellence because the people of our country have spoken and they will speak in their voting now. They have spoken generally about their disappointment with what the African National Congress has done with the 30 years in which they have given it their support. And very many of them now feel that it's time that they should look elsewhere. It probably explains why there are so many new political parties, because it means almost everybody feels that, no, I want to be part of a government, because this thing of public funds being stolen by people elected to govern cannot be allowed to go on anymore. So we don't know what the outcome is going to be here. How many parties will actually get enough votes to be in government? But what is clear, I think, is that very many people that used to vote for the African National Congress will not be voting for it.
And that, we heard from the Commission earlier as they were giving just a progress report of how voting is going. There has been a long queues across the country, sometimes given to the delay in the arrival of voting materials. Do you think it's an issue of, glitches in terms of getting that material to voting stations, or is it just because we're seeing an overwhelming turnout?
I think there's an overwhelming turnout. And the reason there is that is because the levels of impatience is that everybody really wants to be part of government and make sure that, no, it must produce leaders that can be trusted.
And you're saying that it is going to be your last election. I think perhaps maybe, just to speak to us about what it feels like being here on the ground and just anticipation of what that result board will eventually show.
Actually, I'm just saying that, no, I'm more talking about the fact that I do not think that I will be going to elections again next time there's an election and so on, because I'm advanced in years now. And I would like to give younger people a chance, but if they can be trusted, they must be given a chance to go into government and run affairs of state in keeping with the correct teachings of making sure that we are honest in respecting the money the people contribute by way of tax, and that we use that money to look for the education of their children, the conditions of life of the people, and all of that.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Ntate Kyalewo. Well, we are expecting, of course, the IEC to be giving that progress report and really just to give an update on, just apart from what we've been seeing on the ground, but really how far we've come in regards to those long queues, and if they will be able to close those voting stations in time. Of course, they have assured every single South African that if you are standing in those long queues, you will be able to cast your vote.